Lily pressed her face against the transparent wall and watched ships dock at Haven's Rest. The station floated in space like a giant wheel, spinning slowly to create gravity. She had lived here for 3 months now, ever since her mother became Earth's representative to the Galactic Council. At 8 years old, Lily thought space was the most exciting place anyone could be. Rascal stood on his back legs beside her, his small paws resting on the wall. The honey badger was almost 2 feet long with thick gray and black fur. His dark eyes tracked every movement outside with careful attention. Lily reached down and scratched behind his ears. Rascal made a soft churring sound that meant he was content. "Come on, boy," Lily said. "Let's go to the gardens." They walked through the station's main corridor. Aliens of every shape and size moved past them. Some had 4 arms, others had scales or fur or skin that changed colors. Most of them looked at Lily with curiosity. Humans were still new to the galactic community. Earth had only made first contact 5 years ago. A tall reptilian alien stopped and stared at Rascal. His name was Ambassador Krell, and he ran the station. He had green scales and golden eyes that blinked sideways. "Good afternoon, young Lily," Krell said in his hissing voice. The translator device on his belt turned his words into English. "Your creature is so small. Is it a pet?" "Rascal is my friend," Lily said firmly. "He's a honey badger from Earth." "A badger," Krell repeated slowly. "I have studied Earth animals. You keep many creatures as companions. Dogs, cats, birds. Your species is very trusting. We like animals," Lily explained. "They like us too." Krell made a sound that the translator called a laugh. "Yes, I have noticed. Most species in the galaxy do not form such bonds. They see animals as food or threats. But humans are different. You are soft with no claws or fangs. Perhaps that is why you befriend creatures. For protection." Lily wanted to say that wasn't true, but Krell had already walked away. She frowned and looked down at Rascal. "You're not just protection," she whispered. "You're family." Rascal bumped his head against her leg in agreement. The biodome gardens filled the entire lower level of the station. Real plants from a dozen worlds grew under artificial sunlight. Streams of clean water ran between paths of smooth stone. Lily loved this place. It reminded her of parks back on Earth. She found her favorite spot near a cluster of blue flowers that smelled like vanilla. Rascal immediately began digging in the dirt looking for insects. Lily sat down and pulled out her drawing tablet. She started sketching the alien children playing nearby. There was Pip, a small furry creature with 6 legs and big ears. His species were called the Verdani, and they were gentle herbivores. Pip was only 6 years old, but he already knew 5 languages. "Hello, Lily," Pip said, hopping over. "Can I sit with you?" "Of course," Lily said, smiling. Pip settled down next to her. He watched Rascal dig for a moment. "Is your badger looking for food?" "He likes to hunt bugs," Lily explained. "It's his instinct." "Instinct," Pip repeated carefully. "That means something he does without thinking?" "Sort of. It means something natural for him." 3 more aliens approached. They were called the Slithara, the same species as Ambassador Krell. But these were children, smaller and less confident than the adults. Their scales were lighter, showing their young age. "Can we watch?" one of them asked. "We have never seen an Earth animal before." "Sure," Lily said. "Just don't touch him unless I say it's okay." Rascal doesn't like surprises. The children sat in a circle around Lily and Rascal. They asked questions about Earth, about humans, about honey badgers. Lily answered as best she could. She told them about forests and oceans, about cities and schools, about all the animals that lived on her home planet. "Earth sounds dangerous," Pip said quietly. "So many predators. Lions and tigers and bears. How do humans survive?" Lily thought about that. "We're smart," she said finally. "We build things and work together. And we made friends with some of the animals. Dogs help us hunt. Cats keep pests away. Horses help us travel. And badgers?" one of the Slithara children asked. "What do they do?" "Rascal keeps me safe," Lily said. "And he's my best friend." The alien children seemed confused by this idea. To them, predators were enemies. Prey animals were food. The thought of friendship between species was strange. Rascal suddenly stopped digging. His head lifted and his body went rigid. Lily recognized that posture. He sensed something wrong. She looked around the garden. At first she saw nothing unusual. Then she noticed them. 4 massive aliens stood near the entrance to the biodome. They were at least 8 feet tall with dark purple skin and powerful muscles. Their faces were elongated like wolves with mouths full of sharp teeth. Long claws extended from their 6-fingered hands. "Dravik," Pip whispered, his voice full of fear. "They are hunters, predators." The Dravik walked through the garden slowly. Every smaller alien moved out of their way. They radiated confidence and danger. One of them looked directly at Lily and smiled, showing all of his teeth. Lily felt a chill run down her spine. She had never seen a Dravik before, but she understood immediately why the other aliens were afraid. These creatures were built for killing. Rascal moved closer to Lily, placing himself between her and the Dravik. He didn't make a sound, but his body language was clear. He was ready to fight if needed. The Dravik leader laughed at something his companion said. They moved past Lily's group without stopping. But Lily saw the way he looked at her, like she was something small and weak, like she was prey. After they left, the alien children began talking in nervous voices. Pip pressed close to Lily, trembling slightly. "We should go," he said. "Dravik are dangerous. They don't follow rules like other species." Lily stood up and brushed dirt from her pants. She picked up Rascal, who was still tense and alert. "Come on, boy," she said quietly. "Let's go home." As they walked back to their quarters, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that something bad was about to happen. Rascal seemed to sense it too. His dark eyes never stopped scanning their surroundings. Neither of them knew that this was only the beginning. Dr. Rachel Brooks reviewed reports on her data screen, but her mind kept wandering to Lily. Being a diplomatic envoy meant long hours of work, which meant less time with her daughter. She felt guilty about it every single day. When they had volunteered for this position, Rachel thought it would be an adventure for both of them. Now she wondered if she had made the right choice. A chime sounded at her door. "Come in," she called. Owen Foster entered her office. He was head of human security on Haven's Rest, a former military officer with sharp eyes and careful movements. His expression told Rachel this wasn't a social visit. "We have a problem," Owen said without preamble. "The Dravik pack that arrived yesterday is causing trouble." Rachel set down her data screen. "What kind of trouble?" "Harassment, mostly. They've been pushing around smaller species, making threats, testing boundaries. Ambassador Krell wants to avoid an incident, so he's been lenient. But I don't trust them." "The Dravik have a reputation," Rachel said slowly. "They're aggressive, but they usually follow station protocols." "Usually," Owen agreed. "But this group is different. Their leader calls himself Snarl. He's been asking questions about humans, about our weaknesses, about our children." Rachel felt ice form in her stomach. "Lily? She's the only human child on the station," Owen said grimly. "I've increased patrols near your quarters in the biodome. But Rachel, you need to understand something. If they decide to act, station security might not be enough. The Dravik are apex predators. They've hunted on 100 worlds. What are you suggesting?" Owen hesitated. "Keep Lily inside. Don't let her wander the station alone." Rachel nodded slowly. She knew Owen was right, but she also knew how much Lily loved her freedom. The girl had spent most of her life on Earth, running through forests and playing in open fields. Being confined to their quarters would feel like prison. "I'll talk to her," Rachel said finally. That evening, Rachel found Lily in her room. The girl sat on her bed with Rascal curled up beside her. She was reading a book about alien species on her tablet. "Hey, sweetie," Rachel said, sitting down next to them. "We need to talk." Lily looked up. "Is something wrong?" Rachel chose her words carefully. "There are some new aliens on the station. They're called Dravik. They're predators and they can be dangerous. I need you to stay close to our quarters for a while. No more trips to the biodome without me or Owen." Lily's face fell. "But Mom, I was supposed to meet Pip tomorrow. We were going to explore the upper gardens." "I know, honey. I'm sorry. But it's not safe right now." "Because of the big aliens I saw yesterday?" Lily asked. "The purple ones with the teeth?" Rachel felt her heart skip. "You saw them?" "They were in the biodome," Lily said. "They looked at me funny. Rascal didn't like them." As if understanding, Rascal raised his head and made a low growling sound. "Rascal has good instincts," Rachel said quietly. "We need to trust them. Please, Lily, just for a few days." Lily nodded reluctantly. "Okay, Mom." But staying inside proved harder than either of them expected. On the second day, Lily complained about being bored. On the third day, she argued that Rascal needed exercise. By the fourth day, she was climbing the walls with restless energy. Meanwhile, the Dravik were getting bolder. Owen reported 3 separate incidents of them cornering smaller aliens in isolated corridors. They never quite broke any laws, but they made their intentions clear. Haven's Rest was their hunting ground, and everyone else was prey. Snarl, the Dravik leader, seemed particularly interested in humans. He attended a council meeting where Rachel was presenting Earth's petition for full membership in the Galactic Alliance. He sat in the back row watching her with predatory focus. After the meeting, he approached her in the hallway. Up close, Snarl was even more intimidating. He towered over Rachel, his muscles rippling under purple skin. His breath smelled like raw meat. "Human envoy," he said, his voice a deep rumble. "I have been curious about your species. You have no claws, no fangs, no natural weapons. How did you survive on your world?" Rachel kept her voice steady. "Intelligence. Tool use, cooperation." Snarl laughed, a sound like grinding rocks. "Words that mean weakness. On my world, the strong hunt the weak. The predators eat the prey. That is natural law. Earth has predators too," Rachel said. "We learn to coexist with them." "Coexist," Snarl repeated mockingly. "You mean you hide from them, run away? Beg for mercy." He leaned closer. "I have seen your child human, small, soft, defenseless. She would not last one day on a real world." Rachel felt anger flash through her fear. "My daughter is protected. By what? That tiny animal she carries?" Snarl's eyes gleamed with amusement. "I could snap it in half with one hand." "Then it's lucky you won't get the chance," Owen said, appearing beside them. His hand rested casually on his weapon. "Move along, Snarl." For a moment, tension crackled in the air. Then Snarl smiled, showing all his teeth. "Of course, human security officer. I meant no disrespect. I was simply making conversation." He walked away, but his laughter echoed down the corridor. That night, Rachel doubled the security around their quarters. She also sent a message to Earth Command explaining the situation. But she knew help was weeks away. They were on their own. Owen came by late after Lily was asleep. He and Rachel sat in the living area, speaking in low voices. "He's planning something," Owen said. "I can feel it. The other Dravik have been mapping the station, finding blind spots in our camera coverage." "Can't Krell do something?" Rachel asked. "He's the station administrator. Krell is afraid of causing a diplomatic incident. The Dravik Empire is powerful. If we accuse them without proof, it could cause problems for the entire alliance. So we just wait for them to attack?" Owen was quiet for a moment. "I've been reviewing Earth's animal database," he said finally. "Specifically information about honey badgers. Why?" "Because I wanted to understand why Lily's family chose that animal as her companion. Dogs are more common, cats are easier to care for, but your family picked a honey badger." "My father raised them," Rachel explained. "He was a wildlife researcher. He always said honey badgers were the toughest animals on Earth." "He was right," Owen said. "I watched videos. Honey badgers fight lions, Rachel. They raid beehives despite being stung hundreds of times. They have skin so thick that porcupine quills and snake fangs can't penetrate it, and they never ever back down from a fight." "What are you saying?" Owen met her eyes. "I'm saying that if the Dravik try something, they might get a surprise. Rascal isn't a pet. He's a weapon that doesn't know it's supposed to lose." Rachel thought about her father, who had trained Rascal from birth, who had genetically enhanced the badger for longer life and higher intelligence, who had given him to Lily with simple instructions: "Protect her always." "God help us," Rachel whispered. "God help the Dravik," Owen corrected. Neither of them slept well that night. Somewhere in the station, Snarl and his pack were planning their hunt, and in Lily's room, Rascal lay awake beside his sleeping human, his instincts screaming danger. A week passed in tense silence. Lily felt like a prisoner in her own home. She did her schoolwork through video calls, played games on her tablet, and tried to keep Rascal entertained in their small quarters. But both of them were going crazy from confinement. Rascal paced constantly, his claws clicking on the metal floor. He scratched at the door and made unhappy sounds. Lily understood how he felt. They were meant to be outside, exploring and moving, not trapped in a cage, no matter how comfortable. On the 8th day, Lily made a decision. She needed to get out, even just for an hour. The medical bay was close, just 2 corridors away. Her friend Talia worked there. Talia was a Verdani, one of the gentle, 6-limbed species. She always had interesting stories and sometimes gave Lily sweet treats from her home world. Rachel was in a council meeting. Owen was checking security systems. Nobody would notice if Lily slipped out for a quick visit. She clipped a leash to Rascal's harness, something she rarely did. But she wanted to seem responsible, just in case someone stopped her. "Come on," she whispered. "Let's go see Talia." The corridors were quieter than usual. Most aliens were in the central marketplace or the dining areas. Lily walked quickly, keeping her head down. Rascal trotted beside her, his nose twitching as he scented the recycled air. They reached the medical bay without incident. Talia looked up from her workstation and her ears perked up with happiness. "Lily," she exclaimed in her soft voice. "I have missed you, little friend. Why have you not visited?" "Mom's been worried about the Dravik," Lily explained, climbing onto a chair. "She doesn't want me wandering around." Talia's expression grew serious. "Your mother is wise. The Dravik are not like other species. They enjoy causing fear." She reached into a drawer and pulled out a small package. "Here, I saved these for you. Sugar crystals from my home world." Lily accepted the gift gratefully. She and Talia talked for almost an hour about everything and nothing. It felt wonderful to have a normal conversation again, to feel like herself instead of someone hiding. But Rascal never relaxed. He sat at Lily's feet, tense and alert. His head swiveled constantly, tracking sounds and movements outside the medical bay. "Your badger is troubled," Talia observed. "He's been like this all week," Lily said, scratching behind Rascal's ears. "I think he senses that we're in danger." "Animals know things we cannot," Talia said wisely. "Perhaps you should return home, little friend." "Before your mother worries," Lily nodded reluctantly. She hugged Talia goodbye and headed for the door. But as she stepped into the corridor, her personal communicator beeped. A message appeared on the small screen. It was from Pip, the young Verdani boy she had met in the gardens. "Help," the message read. "Trapped in lower cargo bay, scared, please come." Lily's heart jumped. Pip was her friend. If he was in trouble, she had to help. The cargo bay was only 3 levels down. She could get there in 5 minutes, help Pip, and be back before anyone noticed. She started walking toward the nearest lift. Rascal pulled against his leash, trying to go the opposite direction. He made a sharp barking sound, something he only did when he was warning her. "It's okay, boy," Lily said. "Pip needs us," but Rascal wouldn't move. He planted his feet and pulled harder, trying to drag Lily back toward their quarters. His eyes were wide and his fur stood on end. Lily hesitated. Rascal was never wrong about danger. Her grandfather had taught her to trust his instincts. But Pip was her friend. What if he was really in trouble? She made a choice that would change everything. She unclipped Rascal's leash and picked him up. "Sorry," she whispered. "But we have to help." The lift carried them down 3 levels. The lower sections of the station were used for storage and cargo processing. Not many people came here unless they were working. The corridors were darker and narrower than the upper levels. Lily's footsteps echoed as she walked. Rascal struggled in her arms, still trying to turn her around. She held him tighter. The cargo bay doors were open. Lily stepped inside and looked around. "Pip," she called. "Are you here?" The bay was filled with containers and equipment. Shadows stretched between the stacks of supplies. Nothing moved. "Pip?" Lily called again, louder this time. A sound came from behind her. She spun around and saw them. The 4 Dravik stood between her and the exit. The doors slid shut with a heavy clang. Snarl stepped forward, his teeth gleaming in the dim light. "Hello, little human," he said. "Did you enjoy my message?" It was very easy to fake. Your friend Pip's communication code was not secured. Lily's blood turned cold. She had walked straight into a trap. She backed away slowly, setting Rascal down on the floor. "What do you want?" she asked, keeping her voice steady despite her fear. "To teach the galaxy a lesson," Snarl replied. "Humans think they belong among the stars. They join councils and make treaties. They act as if they are equals. But you are prey, soft, weak, defenseless prey." The other Dravik spread out, surrounding Lily. They moved with practiced coordination, like wolves circling a rabbit. "When you disappear," Snarl continued, "there will be an investigation, but accidents happen in stations. Children wander into dangerous areas. Cargo equipment malfunctions. Very tragic." He showed his teeth in what might have been a smile. "Your mother will grieve. But the galaxy will remember that humans are not strong enough to survive out here. People will know you did this, Lily said. Will they? Snarl laughed. We disabled the cameras in this section. There are no witnesses. And who would believe that 4 Dravik warriors fought one small human child? They will think you fell or were crushed by machinery. Lily felt terror wash over her, but she pushed it down. Her grandfather had taught her about predators, about how they expected fear, how they fed on it. She stood straight and looked Snarl in the eye. You made a mistake, she said clearly. What mistake? Snarl asked, amused. You threatened me in front of Rascal. The Dravik looked down at the honey badger standing beside Lily. Rascal was small compared to them, barely reaching their knees. His black and gray fur made him look almost cute. Snarl laughed, a deep booming sound. That is your protection? That tiny animal? I have killed creatures 10 times his size. I know, Lily said. She reached down and gently touched Rascal's head. She spoke one word, a word her grandfather had taught her, a word that meant everything had changed. Protect. Rascal's entire body transformed. The cute companion animal vanished. What remained was something else entirely. Something ancient and furious. His lips pulled back, showing teeth that seemed too sharp for his small mouth. A sound came from deep in his chest, a growling snarl that made the Dravik pause. Kill it, Snarl ordered. The closest Dravik reached for Rascal. The honey badger moved like lightning. He lunged forward, twisted in midair, and his teeth found the Dravik's reaching hand. The alien screamed and tried to shake him off. Rascal's jaws locked down with incredible force, crushing bones. His claws raked across the Dravik's arm, finding blood. The wounded Dravik staggered backward, blood pouring from his ruined hand. Rascal released his grip and dropped to the floor, immediately pivoting toward the next threat. His movements were fluid and calculated, showing intelligence far beyond a normal animal. Snarl's amusement vanished. He gestured sharply to his pack. Together. Crush it! 2 Dravik attacked simultaneously from different angles. Rascal seemed impossibly small against their massive forms. But he understood something they didn't. Size meant nothing if you couldn't land a hit. The first Dravik's claws swept through empty air as Rascal ducked and rolled. The honey badger came up under the alien's guard and leaped, his powerful legs launching him upward. His teeth found the soft tissue of the Dravik's throat. Hot blood sprayed across the cargo bay floor. The Dravik made a gurgling sound and fell, clutching his torn neck. He would be dead in seconds. The second Dravik tried to grab Rascal from behind, but the honey badger's thick skin and loose body structure made him nearly impossible to hold. He twisted inside the Dravik's grip, his claws finding the alien's face. One slash across the eyes and the Dravik was blind, screaming and pawing at his ruined vision. Lily stood frozen, watching her friend fight. But she knew she couldn't just stand there. Rascal was holding them off, but there were still 2 healthy Dravik. She needed to help. She spotted a metal pry bar leaning against a container. It was heavy, almost too heavy for her to lift. But fear and determination gave her strength. She grabbed it with both hands and turned back to the fight. Rascal had climbed onto the wounded Dravik's back, riding him like a rodeo bull. His teeth tore at the alien's neck and shoulders while his back claws raked deep furrows in purple flesh. The Dravik spun and thrashed, trying to dislodge him. But honey badgers had evolved to hang on to prey much larger than themselves. Snarl roared in fury. He charged at Rascal, claws extended, but Lily saw him coming. She swung the pry bar with all her strength, aiming for his knee. The metal connected with a satisfying crack. Snarl stumbled, his charge broken. He turned on Lily with murder in his eyes. You dare! He bellowed, but Rascal was already there. He released the dying Dravik and launched himself at Snarl's face. The pack leader was fast enough to catch him mid-air, holding Rascal at arm's length. The honey badger twisted and snapped, his teeth coming within inches of Snarl's face. Die, vermin, Snarl snarled, beginning to squeeze. Lily didn't think. She just acted. She ran forward and drove the pry bar into the back of Snarl's leg. The Dravik howled and his grip loosened just enough. Rascal squirmed free and immediately went for Snarl's eyes. The pack leader threw up his arms to protect his face. Rascal's teeth found his forearm instead, biting down to the bone. Snarl tried to shake him off, but the honey badger held on with determination that bordered on insanity. The fourth Dravik, the one Snarl had originally ordered to kill Rascal, now lay motionless in a pool of blood. The blinded Dravik was curled in a ball, whimpering. That left only Snarl still fighting. But he was learning what countless Earth predators had learned before him. You don't fight a honey badger, you run from it. Snarl abandoned all strategy. He just wanted to escape. He ran for the cargo bay doors, Rascal still attached to his arm. The honey badger's weight slowed him down, giving Lily time to hit the door controls. The doors didn't open. They were locked from the outside. Snarl pounded on them with his free hand, leaving bloody smears on the metal. "Open, open!" he roared. Rascal released his arm and dropped to the floor, but he didn't attack again. He simply positioned himself between Lily and Snarl, watching the Dravik with cold calculation. In that moment, Snarl saw his own death in the honey badger's eyes. This small animal would never stop. It would fight until it won or until it died, and it didn't look like dying was in its nature. The doors suddenly slid open. Owen stood there with 6 security officers, weapons drawn. His eyes went wide as he took in the scene. 2 dead Dravik, 1 blinded and wounded, and Snarl backed against the wall, bleeding from multiple injuries. "Don't shoot," Lily cried, running to Rascal. She scooped up the honey badger, who immediately relaxed in her arms. "Don't hurt him!" "I'm not going to hurt him," Owen said quietly. "Lily, are you okay?" "I'm fine," Lily said. Her voice shook, but she stood steady. "They trapped me. They were going to kill me and make it look like an accident." Owen's face went hard. He gestured to his officers. "Secure the Dravik. Medical teams are on their way." He looked at Snarl with contempt. "You hunted a child. There's no honor in that. No strength. Just cowardice." Snarl said nothing. He was in shock, staring at the small human girl and her even smaller companion. They had destroyed his pack, made him look weak, proven that Dravik's superiority was a lie. Rachel arrived moments later, bursting through the doors. She saw Lily covered in alien blood and her face went pale. "Baby," she cried, running to her daughter. "I'm not hurt, Mom," Lily said. "It's their blood, not mine." Rachel hugged her tightly, tears streaming down her face. Then she hugged Rascal too, who tolerated the affection with his usual patience. Medical teams rushed in to treat the wounded Dravik. The 2 dead ones were covered with sheets. Station security documented everything, taking pictures and collecting evidence. Ambassador Krell arrived, his scales pale with shock. He looked at the carnage and then at Lily. "What happened here?" he asked in disbelief. Owen stepped forward. "The Dravik lured Lily here with a fake distress call. They planned to murder her and dispose of the body. They disabled the cameras, but they forgot about the backup systems. We have everything recorded." "Recorded?" Snarl's head snapped up. "You said the cameras were disabled." "The primary cameras were," Owen said with a cold smile. "But human engineers installed secondary systems. Hidden ones. We have video of your entire confession, including your plan to make it look like an accident." Snarl's face went slack. He had failed in every possible way. Krell turned to Lily. "Child, I'm so sorry. This should never have happened on my station." "It's not your fault," Lily said quietly. She was starting to shake now that the danger had passed. "They fooled everyone." "Not everyone," Owen said, looking at Rascal. He knew. Animals always know. Rascal had curled up in Lily's arms, his eyes half closed. He looked peaceful now, like he was just a pet again. But everyone in that cargo bay knew the truth. They had seen what he really was. A predator that protected instead of hunted. A warrior that fought not for food or territory but for love. Security led Snarl away in restraints. The wounded Dravik was carried out on a stretcher, still whimpering about his eyes. The dead were taken to the morgue. Rachel held Lily close as they walked back to their quarters. "You could have died," she whispered. "But I didn't," Lily said. "Because Rascal was with me. He'll always protect me, Mom, just like Grandpa promised." That night, while Lily slept, Rachel sat in the living area with Rascal. The honey badger looked up at her with his dark, intelligent eyes. "Thank you," Rachel said softly. "Thank you for saving her." Rascal made a soft churring sound and went back to sleep. Outside their quarters, word was already spreading through the station. The Dravik, feared apex predators, had been destroyed by a human child and her small companion. The story seemed impossible, but the evidence was undeniable. The galaxy was about to learn an important lesson about Earth and its creatures, and it was a lesson written in blood. High Arbiter Quen floated in the center of the council chamber, his crystalline body refracting light into rainbow patterns. He was ancient beyond measure. having served as chief judge for Haven's Rest for over 3 centuries. In all that time, he had never seen a case quite like this one. The chamber was packed. Representatives from 50 species filled the viewing galleries, all wanting to witness the trial. The Dravik Empire had sent their own lawyers, demanding justice for their fallen warriors. The human delegation sat quietly in their section, Rachel holding Lily's hand while Rascal slept in the girl's lap. "This council will come to order," Quen announced, his voice resonating like a bell. "We are here to determine responsibility for the deaths of 2 Dravik citizens and the maiming of 2 others. The accused are Lily Brooks' human child and her companion animal designated Rascal." The Dravik lawyer stood, his purple scales gleaming. "High Arbiter, this is a clear case of murder. 4 Dravik warriors were attacked without provocation by a human and her savage animal. 2 are dead, 1 is permanently blind, and the 4th snarl bears scars he will carry forever. We demand execution for both the child and the beast." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Many species agreed that such violence demanded punishment. Children should be controlled. Animals should be leashed. This chaos could not stand. Owen stood from the human section. "High Arbiter, I request permission to present evidence." Quen's crystalline form pulsed. "Granted. Present your evidence, Officer Foster." The lights dimmed. A holographic screen appeared in the center of the chamber. Owen activated the playback from the hidden security cameras. The entire room watched in silence as the recording played. They saw Snarl and his pack corner Lily in the cargo bay. They heard his confession about faking the distress call and disabling the cameras. They watched as he explained his plan to murder the child and make it look like an accident. Then they saw the fight. Saw Rascal transform from a peaceful animal into something terrifying. Saw him fight with intelligence and fury against enemies 5 times his size. Saw Lily defend herself with a metal bar. Saw the Dravik fall one by one. When the recording ended, the chamber remained silent for a long moment. "That," Owen said quietly, "is self-defense, pure and simple." The Dravik lawyer's confidence had evaporated. "The recordings must be fake." "Fabricated." "They are not," Quen said firmly. "I have examined them personally. They are authentic." He turned his attention to the Dravik section. "Your warriors attempted to murder a child. They confessed to this plan on camera. The fact that they failed does not change their guilt." "But how?" another alien called out. "How could one small animal defeat 4 Dravik warriors?" "It should be impossible." Rachel stood. "High Arbiter, I request permission to call an expert witness." Granted. A human entered the chamber. He was older, with gray hair and kind eyes. He wore the uniform of Earth's Scientific Corps. "Please state your name and credentials," Quen instructed. "Dr. Neil Barrett. I'm a xenobiologist specializing in Earth's predator species. I've been studying dangerous animals for 40 years." "Dr. Barrett," Rachel began, "can you explain to the council what a honey badger is?" Neil nodded and activated his own holographic display. Images of honey badgers appeared, showing them in various situations on Earth. The honey badger, scientific name Mellivora capensis, is native to Africa, Southwest Asia, and the Indian subcontinent. They are members of the weasel family, but they're unique in many ways. He brought up a video of a honey badger raiding a beehive, being stung hundreds of times but continuing undeterred. First, their pain tolerance is extraordinary. Bee stings that would incapacitate most animals barely slow them down. Second, their skin is incredibly thick and loose. Snake fangs and predator claws often can't penetrate it. When something does grab them, they can twist inside their own skin to bite back. He showed another video, a honey badger facing down a lion. The massive predator backed away rather than fight. Honey badgers have a reputation across Earth. Lions avoid them. Leopards avoid them. Even packs of hyenas will retreat rather than face one. Why? Because honey badgers never give up. They fight until they win or until they die. There is no middle ground. No surrender, but surely size matters, an alien in the gallery called out. The Dravik are so much larger. Neil smiled slightly. I'll show you what size means to a honey badger. He played a compilation of footage. Honey badgers attacking pythons 10 times their length, fighting wild dogs in packs of 6 or more, driving leopards out of their dens, raiding the nests of crocodiles. Each time the honey badger won through sheer aggression and refusal to quit. Here's what the Dravik didn't understand. Neil said, "On Earth, honey badgers are considered one of the most fearless animals in the world. They have no concept of backing down. And the specimen Lily's family has, Rascal, isn't even a standard honey badger." He brought up Rascal's genetic profile. This animal was bred specifically as a guardian. His genes were enhanced for intelligence, longevity, and bite force. His family has been training guardian badgers for 3 generations. Rascal was raised from birth to protect Lily. It's not just his instinct. It's his purpose. The chamber erupted in discussion. Aliens arguing, questioning, trying to understand. How could such a small creature be so dangerous? Silence! Quen commanded. The chamber quieted. Dr. Barrett, are you saying that humans deliberately breed these animals as weapons? No, High Arbiter, Neil said carefully. We breed them as guardians. There's a difference. Weapons attack on command. Guardians only fight when their protected person is threatened. Rascal didn't attack the Dravik when they confronted Lily in the gardens. He didn't attack when they threatened her mother. He only fought when they cornered Lily and made clear they intended to kill her. Quen considered this. And humans give these animals to their children? To some children, Neil corrected. Children who will be in dangerous situations. Diplomatic envoys on frontier stations, for example. Or families who live in remote areas on Earth where predators roam. The honey badger is a last line of defense, a guarantee that the child will never be defenseless. Another hologram appeared showing statistics. I should also mention that humans aren't the only predators from Earth. We evolved as hunters ourselves. Persistence predators who could track prey for days until it collapsed from exhaustion. We don't have claws or fangs, but we have endurance, intelligence, and the ability to form partnerships with other dangerous species. He showed images of humans with dogs, horses, hawks. We've been partnering with Earth's animals for thousands of years. They help us hunt. We help them survive. It's mutual cooperation between predator species. The Dravik lawyer looked ill. You're saying humans are predators? Of course we are, Neil said simply. Did you think we evolved eating only plants? Humans are omnivores with predatory instincts. We're just polite about it. He paused. Until our children are threatened. Then we remember what we really are. Quen's crystalline form flashed with colors that indicated deep thought. This council will recess for deliberation. An hour later, they reconvened. Quen floated before the assembly, his voice grave. This council has reviewed all evidence. The facts are clear. Snarl and his pack lured a child into an isolated area with intent to commit murder. They disabled security systems to hide their crime. They confessed to these plans on camera. The child and her companion fought only in self-defense, using whatever means they had available. He turned to the Dravik section. The Dravik delegation's petition for execution is denied. Furthermore, Snarl will be tried for attempted murder of a minor. If convicted, he will face life imprisonment. The injured Dravik will be deported from this station immediately. The Dravik lawyer started to protest, but Quen's voice cut through. The Dravik Empire will also pay reparations to the Brooks family for emotional trauma and medical expenses. This is not negotiable. He turned to Lily, his ancient eyes somehow kind despite being made of crystal.
Young one, you showed remarkable courage.
You protected yourself when no one else could. This council finds no fault in your actions or those of your companion. Lily stood, Rascal in her arms. Thank you, High Arbiter. However, Quen continued, this incident has revealed a dangerous gap in understanding. Most species in the galaxy do not comprehend Earth's nature. They see humans as weak because you have no natural weapons. They do not understand that you are predators who choose cooperation over violence. This must change. He addressed the entire assembly. From this day forward, all incoming species will receive education about Earth and its creatures. They will learn that humans are not prey. They are hunters who have learned to walk softly. And those who mistake softness for weakness will learn, as the Dravik did, that Earth's children are never truly defenseless. The session ended. As aliens filed out, they gave Lily and Rascal a wide berth. The story would spread across the galaxy. The tale of the human child and her fierce guardian, who had destroyed 4 predator warriors. In the corridor outside, Pip waited nervously. When he saw Lily, he rushed over. I am so sorry, he cried. They used my communication code. I never sent that message. I know, Lily said, smiling. It's okay, Pip, you didn't do anything wrong. Your badger, Pip said, looking at Rascal with new respect. He is very brave. He is, Lily agreed, scratching behind Rascal's ears. He's my best friend. As they walked away, Rachel put her arm around her daughter. The galaxy had learned its lesson, and Haven's Rest would never be the same. 3 months passed since the trial. Haven's Rest had changed in subtle but important ways. The corridors felt different now, safer somehow, despite the violence that had occurred, or perhaps because of it. Lily returned to her normal routine, visiting the biodome gardens every afternoon. But she was never alone anymore. Everywhere she went, other children appeared, drawn by curiosity and a strange new respect. The small human girl who had survived a Dravik attack became something of a legend. Today she sat in her favorite spot among the blue vanilla flowers. Rascal dug happily in the dirt, hunting for beetles. Around her, a circle of alien children watched with fascination. "Does he really fight lions?" a young Slithara asked, his scales bright with excitement. "On Earth, yes," Lily explained. "Lions usually leave honey badgers alone. They're not worth the trouble." "My parent says honey badgers are the toughest animals on your world," Pip added. He had become Lily's constant companion, no longer afraid after learning the truth. Is that true? Lily thought about it. Maybe not the toughest. Earth has lots of dangerous animals, but honey badgers are the most fearless. They don't care how big something is. If it threatens them, they fight. Like how Rascal fought the Dravik, one of the children said quietly. Exactly like that, Lily agreed. A shadow fell across the group. Everyone looked up to see 3 new arrivals. They were human, a family that had just transferred to the station. The father worked in engineering, the mother was a scientist, and walking between them was a boy about Lily's age, maybe 9 years old. "Hello," the boy said shyly. "My name is Tim, we just got here yesterday." "I'm Lily," she replied, smiling. "Welcome to Haven's Rest." Tim looked around at all the alien children, his eyes wide with wonder. Then he looked down at Rascal. "Is that really a honey badger? I read about what happened. Everyone on Earth has been talking about it." "This is Rascal," Lily said proudly. "Want to meet him?" "Can I?" Tim asked eagerly. "Rascal, come here," Lily called. The honey badger looked up from his digging, spotted the new human and trotted over. Tim knelt down and carefully extended his hand. Rascal sniffed it, then bumped his head against the boy's palm. "He likes you," Lily said. "I brought someone too," Tim said. He whistled sharply. A large dog emerged from behind his parents. The animal was mixed breed with thick fur and intelligent eyes. "This is Scout. He's been with me since I was little." The alien children backed away nervously. Scout was much bigger than Rascal, with visible teeth and powerful muscles, but the dog simply sat down next to Tim, his tail wagging slowly. "Scout is a guard dog," Tim's father explained to Ambassador Krell, who had approached to greet the new arrivals. "We were told that companion animals are permitted on the station." "They are now," Krell said, his tone respectful. "After recent events, the council decided that human children may keep their guardians. We understand now why your species maintains such partnerships." "You mean you didn't understand before?" Tim's mother asked, surprised. "We thought they were merely pets," Krell admitted. "Creatures kept for emotional comfort. We did not realize they were protectors, trained warriors who exist in harmony with your young." Owen walked by on patrol and stopped to greet the new family. "Welcome to Haven's Rest," he said. Then he looked at Scout and grinned. "Good choice of breed. I had a dog like that growing up. Saved me from a bear once when I was camping." "A bear?" Pip squeaked. "How big are bears?" "Big enough to eat me in 2 bites, Owen said cheerfully. "But my dog Rocky jumped between us and fought until I could get to safety." Dogs have been protecting humans for thousands of years. It's in their blood. More human families had arrived in recent weeks. Earth's government had decided that Haven's Rest was safe enough for civilians again, especially now that other species understood the situation. Each family brought their own animal companions. Dogs, cats, even one family with a trained raven that could speak simple phrases. The alien children were endlessly fascinated by these creatures. They asked questions constantly, wanting to understand Earth's strange practice of befriending predators. "Don't you have animals on your worlds?" Lily asked Pip one day. "We do," Pip said. "But we don't keep them as friends. Animals are animals. They follow instinct. They cannot be trusted." "Earth animals follow instinct too," Lily explained. "But we learn to become part of their pack. We feed them, care for them, love them. And they protect us, help us, love us back. It's a partnership." "My parent says that is why humans are dangerous," Pip admitted quietly. "Because you can make friends with things that should be enemies." Lily thought about that. Maybe Pip's parent was right. Humans did have a strange ability to form bonds across species lines. They had domesticated wolves into dogs, turned wild cats into house pets, trained birds of prey to hunt alongside them. "Is that bad?" she asked. "No," Pip said firmly. "It is amazing. I wish my species could do the same." In the station's meeting room, Ambassador Krell hosted a special session. Representatives from 20 species had gathered to discuss a new proposal. "Earth has petitioned for full membership in the Galactic Alliance," Krell began. "Previously, there were concerns about humanity's suitability. Some believed humans were too weak, too trusting, too naive to survive in galactic politics." He paused, his golden eyes sweeping the room. "I think recent events have proven those concerns unfounded. Humans are not weak. They are strategic. They do not rely on natural weapons because they have created something better. Partnerships, alliances, bonds of trust that span species." A reptilian delegate raised his hand. "But the violence, the Dravik deaths, surely that proves humans are dangerous?" "The Dravik deaths prove that humans defend themselves when threatened," Krell corrected. "And they defend their young with particular ferocity. Every species here does the same. The difference is that humans have trained companions who share that protective instinct." "What about the animals?" another delegate asked. "These dogs and badgers and cats, are they citizens too?" "No," Rachel said, standing to address the assembly. "They are not citizens. They are family members, companions, guardians. We do not treat them as property, but they are not people. They are something else. Something precious to us." "Earth's proposal is unique," Krell continued. "No other species brings animals into space. But I believe we should allow it. The benefits are clear. Human children are safer with their companions. And the presence of these animals reminds us all that strength comes in many forms." The vote was called. When the results appeared, Rachel felt tears in her eyes. 18 voted yes. 2 abstained. None voted no. Earth had full membership in the Galactic Alliance. That evening, there was a celebration in the Biodome Gardens. Humans and aliens mingled together, sharing food and stories. Children ran and played while their parents watched proudly. Lily sat on a bench with Tim, their animal companions resting at their feet. Scout and Rascal had become friends, the dog's calm nature balancing the badger's intensity. "Do you think more humans will come to space?" Tim asked. "I hope so," Lily said. "There's so much to explore, so many new friends to make. And if someone threatens us?" Lily smiled and scratched Rascal's head. "Then they'll learn what the Dravik learned. That Earth's children are never alone. We bring our friends with us, and our friends never give up." Across the gardens, Ambassador Krell watched the children play. He thought about how much had changed in just a few months. The galaxy had learned an important lesson, one written in blood and courage. Humans were not prey. They were survivors who had climbed to the top of Earth's food chain not through strength, but through intelligence, cooperation, and an unusual ability to form bonds with other species. They had domesticated the wolf, partnered with the eagle, befriended the horse, and now they walked the stars with companions who would die to protect them. Dr. Neil Barrett stood beside Krell watching the same scene. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he said. "Different species learning to trust each other." "It is," Krell agreed. "Tell me, Dr. Barrett, are there other Earth animals like the honey badger? Ones that would make good guardians?" Neil smiled. "Hundreds, maybe thousands. Humans have been partnering with animals for our entire history. Dogs were just the first. Every environment on Earth has taught us new partnerships. Desert horses, mountain goats, ocean dolphins, forest ravens. We've learned from all of them. And all of these animals would fight to protect human children, the ones we choose as guardians? Absolutely. It's bred into them over generations. The urge to protect, to defend, to stand between their human and danger. It's not just training. It's love." Krell was quiet for a moment. "My species has always believed that such emotions were weakness, that caring for others made you vulnerable." "It does make you vulnerable," Neil agreed, "but it also makes you stronger. Because you're not fighting alone anymore. You're fighting for something bigger than yourself." Far across the station in a prison cell, Snarl lay on a hard bunk. His wounds had healed, leaving scars that marked his failure. He thought about the small human child and her impossible animal. Thought about how 4 Dravik warriors had fallen to something that should have been easy prey. He finally understood the truth. Humans were not weak. They were patient. They did not hunt with claws and teeth. They hunted with tools and tactics and bonds that crossed species lines. They had conquered Earth not by being the strongest, but by being the smartest. And now they walked the stars, bringing their Earth companions with them. Dogs and cats and badgers and birds, an army of creatures who would fight and die for their human partners. The galaxy would never make the mistake of underestimating humanity again. In the gardens, Lily laughed as Rascal chased a flying insect, leaping and snapping at the air. Other children laughed with her, human and alien together, learning that friendship was stronger than fear. This was the future humanity brought to the stars. Not conquest through force, but connection through understanding. Not domination, but partnership. They offered the galaxy something it had never seen before, a different way to be strong. And as the artificial sun set over Haven's Rest, painting the biodome in shades of gold and purple, everyone understood that something fundamental had changed. Earth's children walked among the stars now, and they walked protected by the most loyal companions in the universe.